Hello children, I'm back again. So this is Sashmita ma'am with you to teach you again about the geography, the chapter Physical Features of India. In my last class, if you remember, we have discussed about various features of our country India, and that is the very important 6 features of India. Can you tell me what all the features that you have studied? Right, let me tell you. Number 1, it is the Great Himalayas. Second one, the Northern Plains. The third one, it's your Peninsular Plateau. The fourth one, it's your Indian Desert. Fifth one, it's all about our coastal plains. And the last but not the least, it's about the islands. Right? In our previous chapter, we have discussed very broadly about the physical features of India, that is the northern mountains. Can anyone tell me the highest peak of the Himalayas? Right, it is Mount Everest. What is the height? It is 8,848 meters above the sea level. So let's start the second part of the physical features of India, the northern plains. Children, before I start this northern plain, I'd like to ask you a question. Can anyone tell me what is a plain? Or if I ask you, in which of the land would you like to live in? Whether it is in a mountain or in a plateau or in a plain land? Majority of you will be telling, ma'am, I would like to live in a flat and plain land. That's it. So what is a plain? What do you mean by a plain land? Plain is a flat and a level land is called. Land with a level surface, not having undulating surface, is called to be a plain land. If you look into the map, children, you'll find out the northern plains that they lie just to the south of the Great Himalayas. Coming to this northern plain, how is it formed? Have you ever asked about it? Have you ever thought about it? How such a vast plain land is formed? This northern plain is formed due to the deposition brought by 3 major rivers. Those rivers are, number 1, the river Indus, second one, the river Ganga, and the third one, the river Brahmaputra. Right? So once again, let me repeat, which all are rivers that they made this great northern plain? This is river number 1, the river Indus, second one, river Ganga, and the third one, the river Brahmaputra. Not only the rivers, children, along with the rivers, they are tributaries. Let me ask you again another question. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by a tributary? Let me answer. A tributary, if you look at the map again, you'll find out small streams that they join the main river. So when the small streams, they're joining the main river, mostly in the upper course of a river, then we call them to the tributaries. If you know about the tributary, you must know about what are distributaries. Towards the lower part of the river, when the river, before falling to the ocean or the sea, these rivers, they split into small channels. And those channels are called distributaries. Let me give you some examples of tributary, so also distributary. Coming to the tributary, Yamuna. River Yamuna is a tributary of the river Ganga. For river Brahmaputra, it has also formed number of distributaries. River Padma is a distributary of river Brahmaputra. And an example for the distributary is river Hooghly. Do you know where does it lie? It's situated in West Bengal. The total length of the northern plain is about 2,400 km, whereas its width, it varies in between 240 km to 320 km. Now let's discuss about the importance of this northern plain. If you look into this northern plain, you'll find out it is the most productive part of our country when your agriculture is concerned. Do remember, agriculturally it is very productive. Coming to the next one, it is densely populated area. This zone, this northern plain, because of its fertile land, because of its flat land, this is most densely populated part of our country. When a river, it comes down from a mountain, it has divided into 3 courses. The upper course, the middle course, and the lower course. The upper course is the part of that river in which the flow of the river is very fast, whereas in the lower course of the river, the flow of the river is very slow, and mostly the river used to carry a lot of silt, sediment, all the deposits along with it and starts depositing. Some of the rivers in India, they formed riverine islands. One such river in our country is called the river Brahmaputra. And the island which is formed by this river Brahmaputra is known as Majuli, and it lies in Assam. Children, you know, it is one of the largest inhabited islands in Asia. Before I move on to the next segment, let me tell you what is a riverine island. When an island is formed on the river bed, then only we call it an island. So also Majuli is a riverine island. The total northern plain is divided into three sections. Number one, the Punjab plain. The second one, the Ganga plain. And the third one is the Brahmaputra plain. Let us first start with the Punjab plain. Punjab plain lies in the northwest part of a country, India. Or in the northern plain, if you watch, you'll find out it's the extreme western part of the northern plain. So, Punjab plain is the number one plain for the northern plain of India. The Punjab plain is formed by the alluvial brought by the river Indus and its tributaries. Can you name the tributaries of river Indus? Let me tell you. It is Jhelum, Chenab, Satluj, Ravi and Beas. So these are the five tributaries. Along with these five tributaries and river Indus, the entire Punjab plain is formed. And this particular plain land of this Punjab plain is known to be Doab. D-O-A-B, Doab. Can anyone tell me the meaning of Doab? Right, let me tell you. Doab is derived from two words, Do and Ab. Do meaning stew, Ab meaning water. That means when a land is found in between two water bodies, two rivers, then we call it to Doab. Thus, Punjab got its name. That is Punjab. Panj meaning five. So, this land is formed by five rivers. So, also the name, that is Punjab. So, here we have discussed about the Punjab plain. Coming to the next section of this northern plain is your Ganga plain. And this Ganga plain, it lies in between the river Ghaggar and river Tista. And this spreads over several states. They are Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal. So this is about your Ganga plain. Coming to the next one, that is your Brahmaputra plain. Brahmaputra plain lies in the eastern margin of our country. Okay, that is mostly in Assam. So this river, it flows through the land that is called Assam plain, and so also it is called to be the Brahmaputra plain. Generally, children, this northern plain is called to be a flat and level land. But in real sense, it is not that true. It has got several relief features. Do you know some of the relief features of this northern plain? Right, let me tell you. Some of the regions are called to be Bhabar and some regions are called to be Tarai. So what is Bhabar or what is Tarai? When the rivers, they descend down from the Himalayas, they bring lot of pebbles, stones in their courses. While bringing these pebbles and stones, they used to submit or deposit in the Shivalik range. Because of this, all these small streams flowing through this range, they got disappear. And this region is called to be the Bhabar region. And towards the south of this region, those rivers, those who have disappeared, they reappear again. And they make this land to be swampy and marshy land. And this land is called the Tarai region. And this Tarai region is full with dense forest with lot of wild animals. Now coming to the formation of this northern plain. It is mostly formed by the older alluvium, so also newer alluvium. But in which part you will find this older alluvium and the newer alluvium? Let me explain. The older alluvium are mostly found above the floodplain region, and it mostly consists of calcareous deposition, which is locally called concord. Whereas the soil which is found in the floodplain itself, they are made up of near alluvial soil, which is known as khadar. So here the old alluvium is called bhangar and the new alluvium is called the khadar. Can you tell me which alluvium soil is more fertile? Is it the new alluvium or the old alluvium? It is the newer alluvium. Why? It's all because every year they get renewed by the fresh deposition of the alluvial soil. And this particular area, the part which is having khadar, they are very fertile and they become agriculturally very productive. Coming to the next physical division of India is the Peninsular Plateau. What is a plateau, children? Plateau is a flat and an elevated land that rises sharply from its surrounding areas. Let's move on to the map and just watch. This Peninsular Plateau lies in the southern margin of our India and we call it to a peninsular plateau. In my last class, I might have discussed about what is a peninsula. Again, let me repeat, peninsula is a land which is surrounded by water in its three sides. The Peninsular Plateau in India is mainly made up of igneous rocks and metamorphic rocks. And this is the oldest landmass of India. Peninsular Plateau is divided into two sections. Number one, the Central Highlands, and number two, Deccan Plateau. So let's first discuss about the Central Highland. The Central Highlands lies in between River Narmada, which lies to the south of Central Highland, and it includes the most part of the Malwa Plateau. Whereas the Aravalli Range lies to its northwest and Vindhya Range lies to its south. Now coming to the rivers that those flow through the Central Highlands. The rivers such as River Chambal, the Sindh, the Betwa and the Ken, those rivers they flow through this Central Highland. Towards the east of this Central Highland lie the Bundelkhand and Baghelkhand, and towards the extreme easternmost part of this Central Highland lie the Chota Nagpur plateaus, and which is drained by the river Damodar. You know children, the significance of the Chota Nagpur plateau, it is rich in minerals. So it is also called the Ruhr of India. Can anyone tell me where is Ruhr? Right, Ruhr is in Germany. Ruhr is famous for minerals. Similarly, Chota Nagpur plateau is also rich in minerals. Coming to the next part of this peninsular plateau is your Deccan Plateau. Deccan Plateau lies to the south of River Narmada and it is marked by Satpura Range in its north. And this plateau is higher in the west and gently slopes towards the east. And its northeastern extension is separated by a fault that is from the Chota Nagpur Plateau. You can find three prominent hill ranges from west to east. They are Garo, Khasi and Jaintia. This plateau is marked by two important ghats. One is called the Western Ghat, the other one is Eastern Ghats. The Western Ghats lie in the western margin of this peninsular plateau, whereas Eastern Ghats lie in the eastern margin of this peninsular plateau. If you look into the map, you'll find out Western Ghat lies to the western margin of the peninsular plateau and the Eastern Ghat lies in the eastern margin of the peninsular plateau. Coming to the Western Ghats, its average height is about 900 to 1600 meters. The highest peak in these ghats, they are Anaimodi and Doda Betta. These Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. Do you know children, because of these Western Ghats, our country gets a kind of rainfall which is called orographic rainfall. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of orographic rainfall? It is called to be mountainous rainfall or relief rainfall. When a mountain faces a water body like Arabian Sea, then this mountain obstructs the moisture-laden wind coming from the ocean, and this moisture-laden wind, they bring rainfall to that area. So because of this, our country gets orographic rain in the western margin of our country. Coming to the Eastern Ghats. Eastern Ghats lie to the eastern margin of the peninsular plateau. And this Eastern Ghat, its average height is about 600 meters, and these ghats are discontinuous, irregular and dissected by the rivers, those that drain into the Bay of Bengal. And they stretch between Mahanadi Valley to the Nilgiri in the south. You know children, which is the highest peak of this Eastern Ghat? It is the Mahendragiri, having the height of 1,501 meters above the sea level. Some of the very important hill stations are located in the Eastern Ghats. They are Ooty and Kodaikanal. One of the distinctive features of this peninsular plateau is it is made up of black soil. How come this black soil is formed in this region? This landmass is a very old landmass made up of igneous rocks and metamorphic rock. And these igneous rocks are the deposition because of the volcanic eruption long ago in this region. That because of this denudation of this igneous rock, they turn to black soil. And this area where the black soil is found, this area or this region is called Deccan Trap. Coming to the next division of the physical features of India, it is its coastal plains. The total coastal plains of India are divided again into two parts. One is called the western coastal plain, the other one is called eastern coastal plain. Coming to the western coastal plain, it is mostly divided into three coastal plains. Number one, the Konkan coast found in Mumbai to Goa. Next one, the Kannada coast, which is found in Karnataka. And the third one, Malabar coast, found in Kerala. Coming to the eastern coastal plain, they are wider and quite level than that of your western coastal plain. And this eastern coastal plain is divided into two parts. One is called the northern Sircar, the other one is called the Coromandel coast. Rivers such as Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Kaveri, the Krishna, they have formed large deltas in the eastern coastal plain. And you know children, one of the largest lagoon, that is Lake Chilika. And in which state does it lie? It lies in Odisha. Coming to the next one, it is the Indian desert. And the name of the desert is the Thar desert. It lies towards the western margin of the Aravalli range, right? And it's situated in the state called Rajasthan. Can anyone tell me what is a desert? A desert is a dry and sandy land. And you know children, a desert gets very scanty rainfall. So let's talk about our desert called the Indian desert, that is Thar desert, which lies in Rajasthan. And this desert, it gets rainfall below 150 millimeter per year. And the next important one, this desert is always covered with sand dunes. What are dunes? Dunes are mound of sands, or we can call the hills of sands only. And these sand dunes, they move on shifting from one place to the other because of the direction of the wind. Some of the sand dunes are also found very close to Indo-Pak border. And those sand dunes are known as the Barkhans, which is known to be the crescent-shaped dunes. And you know children, in this desert, that is in the Thar desert, there is only one river which flows through this desert. And the name of the river, it is Luni, the river Luni. And in this desert, the small rivers, those who flow through this area, they disappear due to the direct rays of the sun. So that's all about our Indian desert, that is Thar desert. Let's move on to the next one. Last but not the least, it's all about our islands. You know children, there are two islands that are found in our country. One is the Andaman and Nicobar. Those are found in Bay of Bengal. Whereas Lakshadweep Island, they are found in the Arabian Sea. Let's discuss about the Andaman and Nicobar Island. They are located in the Bay of Bengal. They run from north to south. And these islands are bigger in size than the Lakshadweep Island. This Andaman and Nicobar Islands are divided into two sections. The Andaman in the north and the Nicobar in the south. You may ask, how are these islands formed? It is believed that these Andaman and Nicobar Islands are the submarine part of the mountain Himalayas. Coming to the administrative capital of Andaman and Nicobar Island, it is Port Blair. Can anyone tell me what climate does prevail in Andaman and Nicobar? It experiences equatorial type of climate. Why? Because it lies very close to the equator that lies at 0 degree. This is all about your Andaman and Nicobar Island. Have you ever heard about Barren Island? And where is it located? Barren Island is the only island in Andaman and Nicobar which is famous for having an active volcano. What is an active volcano, children? When a volcano erupts suddenly without any notice, then we call it an active volcano. Volcanoes are of three types: active volcano, dormant volcano and extinct volcano. The volcano which erupts at any time, we call it an active volcano. So Barren Island is the only island in our country which has been known for an active volcano. Coming to the other section of the island, it is Lakshadweep Island. As everybody knows about it, that it lies in Arabian Sea, very close to the Malabar coast, that is in Kerala. This island is mainly composed of the corals. What are corals? Corals are some sea animals that they live in the shallow water in the sea. So it is believed that the entire Lakshadweep Island is formed or is made up of the corals, the coral reefs. This island is composed of corals. Those are ones living in the shallow sea of the ocean. Lakshadweep Island is also famous for a sanctuary. Piti Island in Lakshadweep is famous for a bird sanctuary. Kavarati, have you heard about this name, children? Kavarati. Kavarati is the administrative capital of Lakshadweep Island. So here we come to the end of this chapter, the physical features of India. What did you learn from this chapter? The physiographic unit of India is the unique features of each of the region, but they complement one another and they help and they make our country richer in its natural resource. May it be its mountains, plateau, plains or the coastal region, they all complement each other to make our natural resource rich. Similarly, how are the plains important for us? The plains, they are the granaries of our country and they are the base of early civilization also. And coming to the plateau, how important they are? They are the storehouse of minerals and they promote industrialization. Last but not the least, these are our coastal region and the islands. They not only promote fishing but also port activities. And these areas are famous for their scenic beauty. So, before we wind up, let me ask you a few questions. Right? Question number 1. Let's see how quickly you can answer. Which is the highest peak of the Western Ghat? Right. The answer is Anai Modi. Next question. Name the two coastal plains that they situated in the eastern coastal plain. Number 1, it is Northern Sarkar, and the second one, the Coromandel coast. Can anyone tell me which river flows through the Thar desert? It is the only river that is called the river Luni. What type of soil is found in the Deccan Trap? Right, the answer is black soil. So that's all about this chapter, Physical Features of India. I hope you might have understood the chapter. But one advice, children, do study the textbook, right? So, take care and stay safe.